So, just got done riding around. We're gonna get going on trading the oil, getting this on the lift. Here we go. 1200. 1200 coming. I've watched this done on YouTube a million times now. So let's get going. We're gonna be moving fast here because I'm trying to get this done, but I want to stop at the intake manifold. And if you're trying to get your intake manifold off, or you're trying to put one on or whatever, you need this. You can make your own tool too, but this is like a Harley special tool. It's got a ball end on it. And it's meant for torquing these down or getting them off, the little Allen nuts that are in there. So, there it goes. Okay, with the manifold off, get the rocker covers off. Rocker box covers are off. And now it's time to take off the 12-point head studs or head bolts. Breaker bar, rear head. It worked. Can't see all the carbon? You can see a big chip missing. This thing is coated. You know, there's a lot of carbon buildup in the hole. No scoring. We can still see some crosshatch actually, so that's good. It's been treated all right. And there's still crosshatch on the front one. And there's lots of carbon in there. Maybe to be expected on a 40,000 mile bike, but so engine's disassembled. We got the Buell brass oil pinion gear, and then hammer tool to replace it. So get this off, and we'll come back in a moment. All right, got a dial hooked up to the pinion, and I'm gonna move it around. It's only moving by a thou. I'm getting 1 thou of run out. An ideal is 0 to 3 thou, so we're good, baby. This is the end of disassembly. Now we start putting stuff back together. I got the bronze gear on and I'm gonna tighten this down. The factory is like 35, but I'm doing 74 because that's what performance builders do. All right, we got new cams, we got old cams. That is a big old lobe. Can we see the difference? Peep game. All timing marks are met. And if I spin the cams, or if I spin the engine, the cams move freely. And that's what we like to see. These are the bolts to hold the lifter plates down. The bores are good enough for me, especially for it to be running. Dial gauged it, and like this one is a little out around. It's like right at the limit, you know, so I'm just gonna give it a ball hone and slap it together and it should be fine. Made a huge mess, but there's a hone. Okay, flash forward, and I'm just dry fitting everything. Get your pistons on. they're in there without the wrist pin clips too. I just have them because don't want to run it at this point. I'm gonna just crank it over once everything's torqued on, and see if there's any interference. All right, new day, and shirt is covered in cat hair. Before I went and did all this, just want you to know these cylinders were within spec for out around and taper. They also don't need an overbore or oversized cylinder or anything, so I just hit them with a dingleberry. We're going to put fresh piston rings from Hastings in there and run this 1200. Yeah, we're bringing the 1200 to Born Free. Then I got a surprise, so stay tuned. Post Born Free surprise, so you're gonna have to stay tuned. Let's put this head on. There's bad boys. You see that? I don't got good lighting up close, but covered in grease. To do this, we need to get the lifters and push rods installed. So you're gonna look at this and be like, yo, Chop, what are you doing? Where's the push rods and the lifters? And I'll tell you, we're doing S&S Quickie push rods. I think I've said it a million times. So you can install them post the heads. Well, that's what we're gonna do. So here we go. And you can do that because they're adjustable. So when you do remove your head studs, I've been told you should always get new ones. New ones are relatively cheap, and it's because they're torque to yield, meaning they stretch. So you get new ones. You get new ones, and that way you won't over torque and snap a case stud. So what I'm doing is I'm using the old ones, and you use the old ones, and you kind of torque to the lowest end. You do still do the same torque sequence, but you do it all to like the lowest end, and it's just so you can kind of compress everything, and then you can do a revolution of your rear wheel. Mine's up in the air, put it in fifth, and ka-dunk, and then you'll get a reading. And use your old ones to do that. Don't use your new ones because you want to torque to yield those ones. You know? Yeah. Let me finish this up, and then put the push rods and lifters in. All right. Peep game. Ta-da. You seen them? Quickie push rods, chrome. And now we got to get these and lifters installed so that we can turn it over. All right, I lied. I did one, so now we're going to do the other. But it's pretty easy stuff. I'll just do one here real quick. Big washer, and there's a thicker but smaller washer, right? Thin washer, you need that. There's an O-ring. There's 3 O-rings in the pack. There's one that matches the washer diameter. That's the bottom. It goes in here. I already stuck my lifters in. So I'm gonna grease this up. Grease up the washer too. And then that all goes on this part here. And then that'll go in there. So hold that to the side, and you grab the spring holder. You grab the spring, and you grab the middle-size washer. And then there's, or middle-size O-ring, and you grab that thick boy washer again. And spring just goes in the cap here, and just because it's metal on metal, I'm gonna put some assembly on it. And then the washer goes down, and then the O-ring goes down. And you stick the like brushed aluminum piece You put the beveled side over that. Bada bing, bada boom. Then this goes into here. And then this goes into here. And you get your big O-ring, cover it in some grease, and get it, try not to get it all over your hands like me. And you can lift this, oops, and you can lift that into position. Take a screwdriver, there's a lip on it, you can press that lip, you're not pressing on the O-ring or anything. And you can press the tube into the head, and it fits with pressure because of the O-ring. And then repeat the process, do the other one. And then you can drop your push rods in the top. Now the thing about these, the whole point about having them is you can lift them. See if you can zoom in here. That's as far as it goes. Whole point about these is you can lift them up and get to the push rod adjustment, allowing you to collapse the push rods because they're adjustable, and pull them out and pull your lifters out so you can get to your cams and pull them out. Pretty cool. You can also minimize, you can get like a perfect push rod length, especially if you did something like deck your heads, and or if you got huge cams or something, and minimize your valve chatter, your valve chain noise. So that would be good when you got the quiet sewing machine. We're gonna do the torque sequence with the old bolts now. We're not gonna do like super tight, do the final 90 or any of that, but let's just start with the front. So you do this bolt on the shift side, left side of the bike, and the one that's closest to the intake first. And it goes 1, 2, and then on the back, 3, 4. So the fourth one is the last bolt that's to the front of the bike. And then we're gonna start with 130 inch-pounds. Oops. Easy. Boom. Also, make sure your bolts are greased. I use assembly lube on the bottom, the hats, and in the threads. Three. 4. That's the first sequence. Then we're going to do that on the rear, and it's just the mirror. So the first one is the one that's closest to the intake. Second one is the one that's closest to the back of the bike. And then do the top closest to the intake to the back of the bike. So first I did 120, and now I'm going to do 15 foot-pounds. Yeah, this is going to be 15. And then after this, you do the 90 and all that, but final assembly, I'm going to do it incrementally. It's that way you get 0 leaks. It goes on as even as possible, and your life's good. So now we're doing 15. So that's done. Now you put the rocker box covers on, and then once those are on, you can ding ding. Well, then you can adjust the damn push rods, let them bleed down for 30 minutes, and then do it. So it's getting pretty late. I'm gonna put my covers on and let them bleed down overnight. Come back to this in the morning. It's the next day, and my mic died, so using the camera mic. Next step is we check see if the Push rods can spin by hand and they bled down correctly. Yep. Now what's the next step? Rotate the engine. Okay, let's take it apart. Okay, I cut away so I can get to the clay, and now I'm gonna measure. Start doing some measuring. I think I measured right. Looking like a 20th. I don't see any indentation on the front. The rear has a little bit. There's a tiny indentation there and a tiny indentation up there. I guess my concern is how close this is. It looks extra close to, so I don't know, I gotta go to Tetro. So let's see what he has to say. All right, I went over to Tetro with the clay and pulled it out already, but even he said way too tight. Fits in there, kind of, not even, but it was, this is what it looks like. You see how tiny? That's basically what the clay looked like, is that it was coming like with that much space. So what do? Take a die grinder and cut this back. And I'm gonna do it at a 45. Just open her up all the way around. And we'll do it on both sides, and we'll do it on both pistons. All right, check it out. So I think this is gonna work. Okay, got new rings. All right, so the second ring was tighter than my top ring, and that's what we don't want. So I don't have a perfect file for this, but I got this. This is it's coming in at 0.24. This is the second ring, and the top ring's coming in at 0.25. So we just got to get this square. It says up, so I'm going to file like towards the top of the ring, or you know what I'm saying? This is the top of the ring, so. All right, so these gaps are good. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rings on them. Rings are gapped for the front piston, or for front cylinder. Now let's do the rear cylinder. So repeat the process. We're going to put the rings in the cylinder, and we're going to gap them, and we're going to file need be, and then we're going to put the piston and grease everything and repeat the process. We've got the cylinder or pistons in the cylinders, so let's start to do our last mock-up. We're going to use new gaskets and everything everywhere. Yeah, so let's get to it. Now, let's go eat something. Okay, battery's gonna die, so I'm gonna get these on, and then we'll do the clay check, and I'll come back. All right, this time around, I didn't get any indentation. I think it's because the lifters are kind of bled down a little bit, so, or too much. But I think I'm gonna be fine, man. We're gonna be fine. It's all gonna be fine. We're just gonna run it. So we got new bolts here. And after 22, we bump to 35. All right, final. This is 42 foot-pound. Okay, it's the next morning. I worked until 4 a.m. and I got the intake manifold on and the carburetor on, well, where it's supposed to be. Intake and carb where they're supposed to be. And then now I got to do other things like get the seat off, get access to the TC88A ignition control unit, and or whatever it's called, adjust the dials, and then put it all back together. So I'm going to speed things up here. All right, while the exhaust is off, I thought it'd be good to put this guy on. All right, here's this Daiwan Tools chain breaker. Got off Amazon. Can't believe this chain stretched so fast and smacked the side of my fender. And they go side to side, you know, from power and everything. I mean, come on. Take one of these pins here. All right, here it is. RK GB 530 XRE Sport. I mean, I don't think you should put your thumb like. Okay, and then last but not least, set the chain tension, which we went and did here. And since it's a hardtail, you want to go a little tighter spec because it'll move around a little bit more. So keep things tight, and then your first 20, 50 miles, adjust it again. And I'd adjust it again around 100, and then somewhere between 100 and 200, I'd clean it, lube it, and adjust it again. And then it should be good from there on. But nice change, rated for like 205 horsepower, 1400 cc engines. So we're gonna do half that, maybe, in my wildest dreams. And then yeah. So chain's done. It's put back together. And now I gotta fill it full of oil, get the oil flowing through it with the spark plugs out, and then turn it on. First, I'm gonna give it a little wipe down because it's full of my greasy paws. So let's do that. Moment of truth. Okay, fuel's off. We're just gonna pump oil until it comes out of there. So I'll see it coming out. Hopefully it doesn't sound crazy. I brought some octane boost. Man, I'm nervous. I really think something's gonna go bad. I'm scared. I bought octane boost because the gas in the tank is probably just 87. Ready? Okay, here we go. Well, it's not broken, but it's pretty loud on the top, so let's figure that out. All right, it's time for heat cycle number 2. I got the plugs out and I'm gonna prime it again. So. Oh, I have a feeling it's gonna be loud. Let's try again. All right, about to do heat cycle number 3. And I'm gonna get these heads up to like 320 degrees or so. I'm gonna remind you that I just read everything online and I apply it. I'm by no means an expert on anything. I just think I can retain information really well, and that allows me to like regurgitate it really well, which helps me compartmentalize it and recall it very well. I've been working on my memory for years, and it's gotten pretty good. So I might sound like an expert at times, but I'm not. This is my first chopper, first engine I've ever torn into on anything. So yeah, I tried to do as much as I could the way it should be done. You know, checked run out on my Pinion. I bought measuring tools to check the bores and everything. I didn't just slap everything together. I just kind of wanted to like get more tuned in to how this works and what's going on. So the next time, I'm that much more confident. Anyways, not an expert, just a guy. Let's do this again. So we got a new mic. Rode around the bike. Got about 215 miles today. Just do the same route again tomorrow and call it a day, but I have some leaking and I think it's coming from the rocker boxes. So I'm gonna check that out. Let's also do a plug chop, see how that goes, and try and figure out this ticking. Everything's button backed up. I didn't film it because the power's supposed to go out here in a half an hour now. It's 8:30, it's supposed to go out at 9, and I just wanted to get this done. And filming is slow, so it's back together, and I think it's not gonna leak, but there's a high chance that the 3 bond ain't doing a thing. So let's go take it for a night spin. All right, the power's supposed to go off any moment now, so we're gonna take it for a spin, see how bad it leaks, come back. It's still fucking there, dude. Could be the primary chain, still needs to be further tightened. But like it goes away and comes back, whatever it is, like it isn't there when I'm cruising, and I'll point out, I'll just say like there, there, and there. Watch. It's not there. Not there. There. And it's gone. And it's kind of there. I don't know. Like it's not there at all when I'm lugging. So it's, is it the primary? Could be, I guess. It's not there at all down low. There's nothing there down low. Now, the front cylinder was slightly out of round, and when I dingleberried it, it brought it into spec, but it brought it like to the edge of spec, like brought it to 0.29 difference from the bottom to top. I forget which direction, but the one that matters. Again, I'm not an expert. I just was looking stuff up and measuring as best I could and trying to figure it out. So that could mean that the piston is rocking in there, and under a certain type of rev range, what we're hearing is, or what I'm hearing is, the skirt slap the wall. I mean, that front piston or front cylinder did have, the front cylinder did have some minimal scoring, and there was some scoring on the front of the
or the rear, oh, excuse me, yeah, the rear of the piston skirt. It was there, the rear of the piston skirt and on, I can't see shit. I don't know where the potholes are. And there was a little bit of scoring where on the rear of the cylinder, but it was nothing major. Like my fingernail couldn't grab nothing. It was just like discoloration, and I could still see the hatch marks. So in the essence of time, I just ball honed it, called it a day. Now, will it get more quiet as the rings set? I feel like the rings have already set. I've gone like 230 miles, maybe 240 miles, maybe at the most. And they are Molly rings. I heard those seat pretty fast, but don't know if I'm leaking, so I'm gonna find a gas station. Smell like leak? It might be leaking. I don't. I don't see nothing. Nothing new. It could be just left over. Looks like we're doing good on leaks. All right. It's a pretty nice little ride we did there.
And this is where we're gonna stop the video. It was a nice little ride. Gotta deal with that tick, and part of me is afraid that it's the outer round cylinder and I'm getting some piston rock, but you know what? Got a surprise coming, and we might be able to fix that completely. So stay tuned for the next video. Oh, stay tuned for some Born Free footage, and we'll catch you later in the next one. Peace.